our next guest is actually a real person living in a remote area, remote working. I'm going to speed this up so I don't have to ask you because I already know what you're doing. She is a former Riverdance troupe dancer. She is a wonderful concertina player, and you're going to hear more of that. And she is a very, very brilliant composer of tunes and a teacher on concertina. But she's also had a couple of life-changing experiences. One is that she moved from the east coast of the country, from Ashbourne, County Meath, which is, Kathleen, a satellite.
Pretty urban.
Yeah, pretty urban, and a satellite town of Dublin, really, at this stage. And all of what that suggests in terms of a suburban life. Although both parents are not they're from rural backgrounds and traditional music backgrounds. And I was just thinking that of something that Dr. Pat Collins there said about community connectivity and collaboration is a definition of traditional music, actually, because it has all of those things, and it is about connection, and it is about togetherness, and it is about a sense of community. But anyway, Kathleen lives now in a fairly remote area of Donegal, coastal, much given to coloured storm warnings, regular occurrence, and has 2 small twins aged 14 months. So I'm very, very glad that she managed to leave them behind.
It's for the excuse.
And get here. But I want, just before you actually play, I just want to talk to you about one thing. You had to reimagine your life. You had to build another life in another place, very, very different to where you grew up.
Yeah.
And you had to put your music into that life because obviously you couldn't live without it. So just tell me what you've done and how that might connect to something Tracy Keogh said earlier about remote working.
Yeah, well, my career, I suppose, was touring for about the past 5-7 years, and then when this transition came up, it was my husband's got offered a job that she just couldn't turn down, and was based in Gweedore. So that brought us up to Gweedore, and it came at a good time because we were getting tired of all the touring anyway. Started to want different things, so it was really going to root us. So the job was Monday to Friday, so that meant no more touring, really, a little bit at weekends, but that was 100% of my income was the touring. Playing gigs, and all over the world. We would travel all the time. So I had to just try and get creative and think about how am I going to continue being a musician, doing what I want to do, doing what I love, but being based in one place, because the only way I knew how to make money out of it was to play concerts. So I tried different angles and exploring different ideas, doing concerts at home, teaching the concertina. I'm a qualified secondary school teacher, but I was trying to avoid that. So I tried to think of different options. There was, it just happened quite organically at the end because I didn't really have to look very far because there was a demand for lessons for concertina, on the concertina, believe it or not. It's very popular, even around the world. So I started a website of concertina lessons where I record the lessons, people subscribe to the website, and then they press play on the lessons. So I don't have to physically be there, which is the great thing, because there's, it's in 22 countries at the minute, so there's people logging on, taking the lessons all the time from all over the world. It's worked out great because it's online. My whole thing is online. I have an office in the house. I'm there for them if they have any questions, if they're getting stuck at all with the lessons. But it has given me great freedom and flexibility in work. It means that I can work flexibly, like my hours. I can do it whenever it suits me with the babies and all of that. So I'm trying to make it, I'm trying to still be a professional musician, but without touring. And it's a new thing because professional musicians have to tour. If we want to sell our CDs, they're not selling unless you're out playing. So that side of it has slowed down, but I'm learning about the online marketing and selling myself that way and still having a music career, but all online.
And the good news is you can learn as a beginner if you're at an intermediate level or an advanced level. So all 3 levels are
That's it.
available on different course modules. So there's no excuse. So anyway, look, I'm going to ask you to play.
Sure.
And because that's
Yeah.
what I got you here for. And to say that by a funny coincidence, Tracy Keogh is in Guidor down the road from Kathleen next week.
Next week, yeah.
So
I'll play
expect
a few,
great things.
sure, I'll try a few slip jigs. These are songs, Ban Fáidín, Na Canavan Vana, and the last one is the Fox Hunters Jigs.
It's just occurred to me that if we all have to go into lockdown with the coronavirus, we could do worse than take up the concertina.
Kieran said that last night, could be in quarantine and still able to log onto the website. Should be fine.
It's a wonderful world. Can you play us one of your own compositions?
Sure.
I'm thinking of one in particular.
Okay.
About an occasion when it's kind of one that would have me needing Valium at the end of it, but in your case, it produced a tune when you the elevator.
Yeah,
is it?
elevator, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, can you-
So
yeah.
sure, when I was stuck in a lift, when Nuala mentioned I got to travel with Riverdance, so we were in Brisbane, and I got stuck in a lift. So while I was in there, this is what I did with my time.
And what do you call this?
Elevated. Or should have taken the stairs is another name for it.
Thank you. I'm very conscious of the time and that everybody wants to get out and have a cup of tea and a sandwich and everything. So we'll leave it at that. But thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Would you like? Like another one? Okay. Okay. Well, there's one. There's a few that I like.
Okay.
Chase Me, Charlie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Juicy Charlie, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could work that into one, and
Right,
then we
no
finish
problem,
with that. Yeah. I have a special reason for asking for that as well.
Yeah.
The-
How's it go again?
Yep, that's it.
How's the first part?